Hi, I'm Brittany Rizzo, and welcome back to My Only Friends. On today's episode, I met and got to know Will Madden. Will Madden began his career as an actor following his classical training at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art and the Boston University School of Theatre. After starring in the Sundance Film Festival feature Beast Beast, executive produced by Alec Baldwin, he made his studio debut as the serial killer in MGM Orion Classics' The Wolf of Snow Hollow. He has subsequently starred in numerous independent feature films, including 2026's Erupcja, opposite Charli XCX, as well as 15 Cameras, Jethica, Love and Work, and Mean-Spirited. His feature films have premiered at Sundance, South by Southwest, TriBeCa, TIFF, and numerous domestic and international festivals. This episode reminds me of the Friends episode, the one where Ross meets Elizabeth's dad. In this episode, Joey books the lead in his own TV series. And as he says, I've been dreaming about this for years. Why have I not been preparing? Will and I talk about our dreams that are actually nightmares about showing up to set and not being prepared at all. Will and I had a great conversation about our reoccurring actor dreams, how to stay calm in the eye of the storm, and of course, Jennifer Aniston. Please enjoy my conversation with Will Madden. It's so nice to meet you.
Hi, Brittany. Nice to meet you.
I totally cold called you. Kind of.
A
Well,
little bit, yeah.
yeah. So Skylar, he was on the show, Skylar Bible, and I had messaged him and I was like, he was such a great interview and we had
Uh-huh.
so much fun. And I was like, do you know anybody else who'd want to come on the show? And he immediately said, Will.
Oh, that's great. Skylar is my best friend. He's kind of
Really?
he's my roommate Dustin and I and Skylar are a little pod. So we do all our auditions together. We're all actor writers, and we really, we were just talking about this yesterday as far as like promoting ourselves and how nice it is when you have a close friend and ally who can kind of do some of that work for you. It'd be like, oh, I know this person. You've got to get in touch with this actor I know, or something
Right.
like this.
Right.
It seems to be really advantageous and like a central part of how I've navigated my careers. You promote your buddies, they promote you, and it's good.
Yeah. How did you guys meet? Was it in school or?
No, we met in working out here in LA in 2017. He had acted in a short film that my brother directed years ago, 2014 or 15. I moved out here in 2017 and then I met him at a party socially. And then we both acted in a film called The Wolf of Snow Hollow,
Mhm.
which we filmed in Utah in 2019. And the two of us were kind of shacked up in this like bunk bed sort of like actor. It was like a barracks in this on this mountain top in Utah. So for like a couple months we got to work on this movie together. We were both acting in it, and that's when we really became friends.
Yeah.
And then yeah, since then we've just been kind of the you know, go to sides readers for self tapes, and subsequently, we've acted in a bunch of things together, some features, we've made shorts. Um, so yeah, he's been an essential kind of ally in this whole trip.
Yeah, I love that. I do. It's so hard because, like, a lot of people, when you move here, they say it's hard to meet people. But once you find your community, I feel like everything opens up for you. Like, everything. And it's so hard to navigate this business and just life in general without a sense of community.
Mhm.
And I think the world has become so like we think that we have relationships with people through our phones. You're like you think you're catching up with them by viewing what they did on their story, and nobody's actually physically getting together. But when you do have those people where you are creating experiences, creating new opportunities for each other, having each other's backs, it's so important.
Yeah, I agree. I was lucky to have a few people that I knew when I moved to LA who were actors, writers, filmmakers, people from college, people from my life. So that really what gave me an advantage in just like, oh, I'm tagging along to this party or tagging along to this
Mhm.
film set. And that helped me get like PA jobs and kind of start to get on sets. Not big jobs, but just helping friends out, shooting this or that. But
Yeah.
yeah, building a community is like It's like number one, it's really
Mhm.
is number one in my experience. That's not only how I work mostly professionally, is through relationships and people I have met and worked with or know socially. But I just don't know how I would do it being
Mhm.
alone, if
I
I
know.
would be able to like kind of trudge through it, or even if I had, I have some very close friends who are not creative artists at all, or in any professional creative field. Um, and as much as they're amazing and supportive, it's still like I need, trudging buddies
Right.
to be in the, in the trenches with,
Right.
and understand, who I can relate to, and
Yeah, it's because
help.
it's just so different. Like, unless, and it's even like explaining what I do to my parents. It's like they really, unless you're doing this industry too and in it, like you just don't get it. Like, it doesn't make sense to other people. Like,
It doesn't.
it doesn't.
Totally
And
gets to me
yeah,
sometimes. I'm like, what am I
exactly.
doing? What are we doing here?
Literally. Now, do you have that thing? Like, I know sometimes with some of my friends, I'm like, there's no way I'm getting through the self tape. Like, you cannot look at me if we're gonna do this together. Do you have that? Where like,
Like,
like there are
yeah.
some friends where I'm like, okay, like just don't look at me. You're my eye line, but you just stare at the paper the whole time. Then there are other friends I'm like, okay, you're fine. You're fine. But other
Oh,
ones, they
oh,
make
oh,
me like giggle too much. Or I'm
I
like,
see.
oh my
Yeah.
God, like you are my friend's husband and we're doing a love scene. This is so strange.
That's a circumstantial weirdness. Yeah, sometimes like to screw with my friend, like with Skylar. We were doing a self tape, and it was one of those like we're doing it at 2 a.m. because his agent wants it the next morning, whatever. And we were hanging out, and then doing the slate. By this time the slate comes around, which is what a weird human experience to have to do with slates.
The worst.
Which I'm sure people all know what a slate is. All the
Yeah.
people who are listening, was when you stand there and after you do the whole scene and you say your name and you say your height and you say where you're from, and it's just like this weird thing where you're just standing there going Will Madden, 6 foot, Los Angeles or whatever, and that's hard to get through without giggling or without feeling shame.
Yeah. And you're like, what do I do with my hands? What
Yeah,
do
right.
I do with my hands?
All of my experience goes out the window, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I
Yeah.
can't say my own name.
Yeah, and then you're like, wait, my feet look weird, or like, wait, this, and you're like, this is the slate. Who gives a shit? Like, this is taking
Yeah, yeah,
longer than the actual
yeah. I'm
audition.
not gonna even get to this. They're
Right,
gonna. I decide 30 seconds into my tape.
right, right. So let's talk about where are you from?
Was born in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but my parents are from New York, and we actually moved to it near a suburb of Atlanta called Peachtree City when I was 5 years old. So I sort of all my formative years were in Peachtree City, and then I went to school in Boston. I went to Boston University, and then did regional theater in Massachusetts and around New England for a few years before coming to LA in 2017, where I've been since. So I've kind of been, so I have a real kind of like Southern South upbringing, or at least community, but through parents and family who were from Flushing, Queens,
Mm,
and then spent a bunch of time in Boston, and now I'm in LA. So I've had a very sort of interesting, like each decade is kind of a different culture,
yeah.
which has been a unique experience. And
So growing up, what was the moment where you were like, I want to be an actor? Was it a specific thing that you saw? Were you just really imaginative when you were a kid, or were your parents in
right.
the industry?
Yeah, a combination of all. No, my parents are not in the industry. My mom's a teacher of literature. She actually just retired, but she was public school teacher, English. She's a great lover of stories and books. And my dad is a huge cinephile. He's just like a business guy, a sales guy, but he's been a huge cinephile. And since we were very little, I would hear my parents argue. My mom was like, I can't believe we're showing our children this movie. We'd be watching Pulp Fiction or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and we're little kids. My dad was like, oh, no, you got to see this scene and this thing, and look how they do this. He's not a filmmaker or artist really at all, but he's sort of a storyteller. He's like a very gregarious guy. And they both just fostered. I have two older brothers. And we literally would take the old, cruddy movie camera, film camera that might be used for home videos, and would recreate the Star Wars saga. We would recreate make our own movies. So it was really like I was 4 and my brothers were 8 and 9, and we were like making movies.
Yeah.
So that really was like the inception of it. And that turned into being in Georgia, just making stuff. That was like one of the special seasonal activities. It was like, oh, we're going to make a movie. And that would
Hmm.
take a few days. And, I would act in them. And then, but my brothers, Kevin and Danny, would really take the time to like edit them and put them together. And they were more serious about it. And my brothers are both in film as well. My oldest brother's an editor mostly in corporate commercial stuff in Boston, but my brother Danny lives here and he's a writer director. He's done a few features and he's out here hoofing it as well.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's my 4-year-old nephew has just started recreating movie scenes. Like
Right.
the other day, he FaceTimed me and wanted to recreate Freaky Friday. Like he's
Oh,
obsessed with it right now and thinks it's just
wow.
like so funny. So I do love that it's still somehow, you know, kids are still doing that and
Oh my gosh. Way
using their
more, I would
imagination.
imagine.
Yeah, yeah. Do
Yeah.
you and your brother work a lot together out here?
The short answer is yes. When we get the opportunities to, we definitely do. We've made 3 feature films together. I have acted in, and he's actually finishing his 3rd feature now. All independent films, and we've made a bunch of short films over the years. And I've played festivals with them, and so yeah, we've collaborated a lot, and it's not. Slowing down. So we're gonna keep going after it. We're cooking up ideas for another project.
Nice.
It takes such a long time usually to put the feature together to really find it and write it and get the finances, et cetera, et cetera. So there's always a kind of ideas that float around, things on the back burner, different hands in different cookie jars until something finally, starts to find its way. So hopefully sooner rather than later we'll get to work again.
What was the decision to move from East Coast to Los Angeles?
To do film, to act in films. I was doing only theater for almost 10 years between school and then acting and traveling and just doing Shakespeare and like teaching and doing classical stuff. That was a real passion, still is, of mine. But it came time to be like, okay, cool, I'm 25. It's time to like move to a bigger city after kind of learning a lot about working professionally in the theater. And am I going to do New York or Los Angeles? Was really the choice, as it is for most people.
Hmm.
And like I said earlier, I had like a group of friends, including my brother, who were like, "Hey, we're out in LA. They've been there for a couple years, and we're starting to make stuff." And they were like, "Come out, let's collaborate." And so that became an accessible like path, and a lucky path to get to just come right here and sleep on my brother's couch for 5 months
Yeah.
and start making shorts together and keep making shorts. And then that sort of snowballed into feature films from a lot of luck and then just working at it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's so lucky to have people out here beforehand, especially like family too. Because I feel like my first couple of years out here, I was so lost. I had
Yeah.
no idea what I was doing at all. And like, we all end up where we're supposed to be. But I always imagine, like, had I known like, I didn't know a single person out here when I moved out here. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Like, found my roommates off of Craigslist type of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm done. Thanks for
Yeah.
that.
So it's like it really is such a difference. And two, like it being family and having somebody who has known you and you're just like, okay, I know this person's gonna have my back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty invaluable tool. Definitely a privilege to have. Yeah, not only people but family who you can rely on, and then like and also whether it's blood family or just friends, just the idea of like not struggling but like going through the challenges and having you know just being alongside other people who are also in the same boat, even if you don't even talk about it, just like the notion of like knowing that I'm not in this thing alone, and
Hmm.
and I have people who are kind of who are parallel to my path,
Right.
and seeing them have challenges and handle challenges and grow and like and do really interesting work and find successes and stuff. It's like a really special privilege to get to see that amongst people that I came up with, over the last 10 years.
Hmm. When
Um,
you first moved here, what was your first job? Like whether it was like working at a pizza place or an
oh
audition.
yeah. Well, I definitely got right into like catering,
Yeah.
just catering gigs, which was great. It's still occasionally is great. It's like it's very, it's temp work, it's gig stuff, it's flexible. That stuff is really advantageous
Hmm.
for actors, as we all know. The stereotype is very real of working in the service industry because it's can be good money in short amounts of time, and then you can kind of go work and then come back. So definitely like catering gigs, but production assisting, PAing was what I did 10 or 20 times. Commercial, short film, feature film, that was a great way for me to be on set and to really just like, because I didn't actually know anything about being on set.
Mm,
How would you if you did, if you just watch a movie and you're like, there's the movie, and then you go on a set and you're like, what's going on? There's a bunch of
right.
people who are frustrated and angry running around.
Where now I bet it's hard to watch a movie without thinking about how
Right.
the set is working.
That's the thing. It's like with anything you learn acting or writing or directing, it kind of ruins all movies and plays, because you're like, I see that. You see the work behind it. But
Hmm.
then it makes you appreciate when you do see something really profoundly,
Right.
made. And then you go, wow, because you know how hard that is to put
Yeah.
together.
The
But yeah,
lazy girl in me is always like, I think about the background actors and I'm like, God, that must have been
oh
such a
yeah.
long, miserable day. Like that
Yes.
just sucked.
Yeah. I was just supposed to just watching. Some of the great directors can really hide the background and like find the right actors who are believe like feature extras and like, but I was just watching a great movie, but I was like, I just see all these like actors, these like actors standing behind the, yeah,
My
look at
favorite
all these
thing,
actors standing in a row
yeah,
at the
yeah.
bank or whatever. I'm like,
My favorite thing is to like, I mean, I rewatch Gilmore Girls like all the time, and I will just spot an extra who's like staring right into the camera or like being super extra. Like they are
yeah,
delivering
yeah.
their moment, like an extra, extra. And it is so fun to catch those things.
That's a journey, man. Being an extra. Someone gave me advice once, and I adopted it. That was like, if you really have aspirations to be an actor, you should like cap extra work at like 8 or 10 times. This is something that I took in because for me, it made me kind of go insane. Kind of made me go crazy, and it was like it just really felt like the time and resources I'm putting into this is really not my career.
Hmm.
It can be a really educational opportunity and be really important and essential, but like getting kind of caught up in just like the day rate of like being, extra gig after extra for me is was not I knew I needed to kind of like say no to things.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, I did not like doing it, but then that is how I got my first co-star. So
Oh,
it was
really?
like I was on when I was on Wizards of Waverly Place. That's how I got my first co-star. Like they bumped us up and they kept bringing us back. And so that is kind of what sparked my entire interest in being an actor because I didn't even know it was possible, like I was
Yeah.
living in Vegas at the time. I got a phone call from Central Casting to be an extra and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Disney Channel. Like I'm going to be Hilary Duff. So of course I'm going to do this." And I was like 19 and then by the second or third episode they were like, "Okay, you guys are being bumped up to co-stars." And I was like, "Oh my God, LA is so easy. I'm not even
Yeah.
here."
Yeah.
And then, but when you do go to the next level, you're like, I'm never doing extra work again. Why
Yeah.
would that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's hard. And it is like sometimes it would also be frustrating because you're like watching these other actors come in and you're like, I can do that. Why am I just a background
Right.
actor?
Right.
And you're like,
Yeah.
put me in, coach. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Oh,
So it's definitely like I think that's a good rule though to have a cap of like, okay, I'm gonna do
yeah.
this a
Do it
certain
10
amount of
times.
times so that I can get the experience, so that I can see what's going on. Because really the only way to learn is to do. And like you said, you can't just watch a TV show and be like, oh yeah, now I know how to do it. Like there's so much that goes into making it where you're like, you know, you're like, I don't know what a turnaround is. What's the turn? You know, so it's like you learn all these like terms and everything when you first move here by
Right.
seeing it like that. And it's a low stakes job.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's funny. What a being the life of an extra. But oh yeah, to your point of the like, what am I doing over here? You know, I feel that way even with like when I was production assisting.
Mm,
It really felt like, okay, I did this 15 times or whatever, and they're good day rates or whatever. But it's like I just every time I would get, you know, just such a not imposter syndrome, but I'm just like, what am I doing? What on earth am I doing over here? Why am I wearing this headset? Like, why am I standing here watching people like live my dream 3 feet
yeah,
away from me? And I'm like, this is just not. Maybe it's ego or something. I don't know, but it was just like I need to be putting my effort into being an actor, you know, and
right. Well, it's like it's misalignment when you're doing something, when you're like ignoring, and to an extent you have to because you have to pay your bills, you know. But when you're ignoring a part of you and silencing a part of you and feeding another part that is you're not super passionate about, of course you're gonna be like, what am I doing? This doesn't feel good. And that's
yeah,
like with anything.
right, right.
Was there a certain, like, how did you go, okay, I'm not going to PA anymore. I'm going to get an agent. I'm going to, like, what was that trajectory?
Was pretty easy to just go like I'm done with this. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't like I wasn't like seduced by some money or something. It was like it's like I can make equivalent doing service industry jobs. So basically, it was
Right.
like I'll just do service industry, and then catering jobs or work at a restaurant, and then just really put all my focus into my career, which turned into like several years and continuing years of like really understanding the business and understanding what it is and how to like show up and market myself basically and like understand where I fit in and like what is my casting, how do people see me, the kind of like ongoing because it changes in an actor's life, but the ongoing like what a horrible word, branding, but they're branding. Like, how am I presenting myself? Through my headshots, through my reels, are they specific? Do they match things that are currently shooting?
Hmm.
The town that I actually live in, it's like I got so lost and still do just in the idea of like, I'm just an actor. I want to be an actor and I'll do whatever comes my way and wander
Hmm.
around rather than really kind of, root down and anchor my material and have like a directive towards trying to get the jobs that make sense for me,
Right.
that are sort
Right.
of tangible. And so like, so, and that again, that like I keep saying, it's an ongoing thing because it can be sort of fluid and evolving, but it was really like no more PA work, no more extra work. I will just really put stock into what it is working, where I am getting traction, and and just sort of embrace and adopt the identity of an actor, which is what I want to be. Some actors like our buddy Skylar we're talking about. He just wants to be on set too. Like he will do different
Hmm.
jobs and do them well. Like he's DP'd projects, he's PA'd projects, he does all sorts of things, produced. Um, but I'm like, if I'm not acting on a set, and it's not just me like visiting a friend's set, like I don't really want to be there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like for a myriad of reasons. I mean, sometimes I'm on a set and I'm like, and they're making so many of us when we start acting, we think that making a movie will be like watching a movie. Like the experience of making a movie will be
Hmm.
similar to what it feels like to watch a movie that it like Gladiator or something. And
Hmm.
it just is so the opposite of the sort of fantasy that is created in a movie. It's its own adventure and it's beautiful and amazing, but it's like it's so much more just it's just life, just being alive and doing a job
Hmm.
in a pressurized, busy, urgent environment that you
Right.
have to learn how to be a Zen master in the middle of a tornado. It's like that's like what acting is to me. It's like, oh, I have to be a meditative sort of priest in the middle of like a war zone.
Yeah, I mean
That's what this is, to do a
that's
good
what
job.
2025 is as well. So
Yeah, just being a person in America.
yeah,
Or anyway.
exactly that part. What are some things that you do to ground yourself in the tornado like what are things that
Right.
keep you, in that meditative state and calm
Yeah.
in those moments?
The first thing and most important thing for me is just preparation. It's
Mhm.
like my experience on a film set is directly related, like my enjoyment of experience and how well I do and what I learn is directly related to how much I prepare.
Mm,
So I like to do an extensive preparation. That's just where the joy is for me as well in acting. Just getting ready for it, understanding, knowing your part back and forth, knowing everyone's part, and just having like the confidence. Or even, it's not even like it's not even that I go on set and I'm like I'm confident that I'm going to do a great job. That's not necessarily what I feel, but the idea like no, I have done everything I could have possibly done,
yeah.
and now we're here. Whether I feel confident or not, it's like I did everything, so I can. There's nothing more I need to do or can do because we're here. So like that's the first thing that allows me to be like, because the outer tornado of the whole set, you have to let you can't be also be an inside tornado going on of like, oh God, I should have done this, I should have done that. What's this person
Right.
doing? So I guess, a long-winded way of kind of saying like finding peace in yourself, taking this is a thing an old acting teacher was screamed at me for 4 years in college. It was like lower the stakes for the actor, raise the stakes for the character. Lower
Mm,
the stakes for the actor, raise the stakes for the character, which is just a way of like it's not about you. Focus on the circumstances. Focus on what your character's here to do, what you are here to do,
right.
and
Right.
just like again, it's like the work is what frees me from the tornado.
Mm,
That's like
mhm.
just
Mhm.
focusing. So that's like, I mean, I meditate, I do all sorts of, weird breathing things. I'll listen to music, all the classical sort of traditional things to like find my own privacy in a public space, take myself off into the corner. I don't like, I'm not a chit chat guy. I don't even like socializing on set, honestly. I'm just like, I'm here to do a job. We
So
have
do you hate
2 hours
this
to
right
do
now?
this.
Are you like, I want off this podcast
No, I
immediately?
love this because I'm not. No, no, this is so much. This is dessert because it's like I don't have to. I don't. No one's gonna come in and say, "Okay, we need you now to do the big scene."
Right.
You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
this is great. We can talk Hollywood and all this stuff, but like when I'm working, like the last thing I want to talk about is our agents and
Right.
where you live in LA. It's like let's just, maybe
Yeah.
not that I'm Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm like, it takes so much focus and energy to like do the work for me that
Hmm.
it's like I can't separate like Will and my life from like the job. So like
Right. Right.
at least when I'm on set.
It's funny that you talk about like being so like over prepared, which I think that is incredible advice and something people can take away, myself included. I mean, I I try to be the same way, and I will have, no matter if it's like a self tape or a workshop I'm doing, I will have a reoccurring dream that I'm on set and I'm like, I don't know any of my lines, and nobody will give me the
Yeah.
sides. Nobody will give me the script. They're like,
Yeah.
it's gone. And I'm like, but I don't know it. And it's the
Yeah.
most panic inducing. And
Uh-huh.
and then of course, like you step into whatever, work you're doing and you're like, it backwards and forwards, but it's always that fear of like, what if I fuck this whole thing up for
Uh-huh.
everybody today?
I know exactly what you're talking about. And
It's
I too I have like incredibly cringy um actor nightmares.
yeah.
Like every 2 months, it'll be like laughably stereotypical. Like I am playing Hamlet, and it's the opening on the West End, and I'm backstage, and the stage manager's like, "You go on, like you're here to do the speech." I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I like literally have that dream frequently.
Yeah.
When I have a job that I'm going to, I just did a short film a week ago, and the weeks leading up to it, I was having nightmares about it. For the
Yeah.
short that I had the one scene in. But
Well, and it's
you
also like, even just I did this casting director workshop recently and the scene was so easy and it was like so right up my alley and I'm like, my body right now doesn't know the difference between being attacked by a bear and doing a scene in front of strangers. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
what is
I'll take the
happening?
bear. Give me the bear. At least I can like defend
Bear
myself.
over anything, literally.
Right, right, right.
It's so
Yeah,
funny. And it's crazy because you think like the more and more you do it, it just becomes, like, okay, those nerves are gone. But
no,
no, they
no.
don't go away. But it's about like turning those nerves and being like, oh, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. I care about
Yeah.
this.
That's one of the most disappointing things that's ever happened to me when I realized it doesn't get easier. I
Yeah.
realized like, oh, being afraid is like being human, and it's not a bad thing, and that's a
Mhm.
good notion, but like that the great and it's not the worst thing that's ever happened, being silly, but like it's actually relieving because I'm like, oh wow, hearing great actors who are terrified. I remember listening to like an interview with Patrick Stewart talking about how like nervous he gets. He gets anxiety whenever he just reads a script that someone sends to him that he's even
Hmm.
considering. He's
Hmm.
just like nerves, and he's 90 years old. He's like a genius. He's been working for 80 years, and it's like, oh wow, yeah, that's like that's a little indicator that you're on the right path. It's just energy flowing,
Right, right.
energy of like something is at risk, which
Hmm.
is what it should be, because it's like I don't know what's going to happen in the scene. And it's
Right.
back to the idea of confidence, like the 2 or 3 times that I've walked on a set and was like, I got this. What's my line? Easy. It was bad. The acting was bad. And I watch it and go, wow, I have a disconnect between what my inner experience is and what's really coming through.
Yeah.
Because the more what I thought was relaxed was actually just being disengaged and not making choices,
Mm.
not taking
Mm.
risks, not being specific. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just here. And I'm like, oh, it's just like a boring guy sitting there with nothing going on and is not, using his language and behavior to get something out of the other character, like there should be that whatever you want to call it, it's like sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's excitement, it's just that energy that's like kind of buzzing. It's like
Right.
what you need to do, particularly for film camera acting. It's like that's what the camera wants to see.
Right.
That's indicative of like need and a character off balance. And it's like you want to be in that place. So, it's not about eradicating the fear out of my system so that I can act. It's sort of
Right.
like
Using it.
burying it,
Yeah.
and letting it be the fuel in a way.
Right. Right.
Uh,
I like
as
that a lot.
yeah, as long as it doesn't paralyze you, which is where fear is bad.
Right.
Oh, now I'm not making any choices, and I'm just like executing the thing I did in my bedroom,
Yeah, you're like blacked out.
acting as hard as I can at somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than like, you know, breathing into, you know, presence in the unknown in the moment. You know.
Was there a specific actor, or is there a specific actor where you were like, that that is my North Star. That's the career. That's the
Yeah.
trajectory. That's the dream. Like for me, it's always been, I look at people who went from sitcoms to big movies like
Oh yeah.
Jennifer Aniston, Mila
Oh
Kunis.
yeah.
Like
Oh great.
those are the people where I'm like, if I could have that career of doing a sitcom for 10 years and then do some amazing rom-coms and like
Wow. Yeah.
sign me
Oh,
up.
that's awesome. Jennifer Aniston's such a baller. She's the best. She's like every time I don't know her work that well, honestly, just from some things. But whenever I see her in anything, I'm like, oh wow, this is like a real true artist actor, like underrated as like a dramatic actor, I think.
Yeah,
And
100% agree. I mean, this
and-
podcast is basically just a love letter every day to Jennifer Aniston.
yeah. And I'll begin the rest of the conversation is just
Yeah, so now we've
cool.
entered the Jen portion. But yeah, like watching the
Yeah.
morning show, I remember just even the first season, she has this anxiety attack, like this panic
Mm,
attack. And I remember having such a visceral reaction to it because it was so spot on of what it was. And it's that she makes it look easy.
mm,
She
right.
makes it like you talk about, oh, like watching something and learning how to act. Like
Right, right.
you watch her and you're like, wait, she made that look like it took nothing out of her at all. Like this is
Yeah.
just, it's a reality show. Like we're watching this actually happen to a person.
Yeah.
And I think the morning show is the best work she's done since Friends. But yeah, she's the North Star for sure. Even off camera in every interview, it's like this woman is so graceful and
Yeah,
still like I love people who, they are global superstars, but they still seem so true to themselves and like so relatable still, where you don't feel like there's this huge separation, even though there is.
sure, sure. Yeah. I definitely, my North Star has always been Philip Seymour Hoffman as
Mm,
performances. Right when I was interested in acting in a serious way, when I was like 14 or 15, was when I started to get exposed to his work with Paul Thomas Anderson from Boogie Nights and Magnolia and
mhm.
Punch Drunk Love. And then that's like right when he won the Oscar for Capote. And it was like, my brain couldn't compute that it was the same guy
Right.
and that it was so fully lived in. And then I saw Along Came
I
Polly,
was just gonna tell you
and
that's your
I
if
was like, that's the same
yeah.
guy.
I was just
And
gonna say if that's your guy, then that's your and you haven't seen a lot of Jennifer Aniston, then that's your
right,
homework, but you
no,
saw it.
that's
That
yeah. Talk
movie's
about
so
right
good.
crossover
I
universe.
know.
That definitely that was like that kind of very quickly cemented him, even before I knew anything about acting. And luckily, like the more I learn about acting, the more I appreciate
Hmm.
his performances. And he was just a full artist. And I admire him so much in so many ways, and that the way that he would just, what it was too, actually, that I'm just remembering now, was when I watched the first time that I ever was watching a movie and had the thought of like, wow, that's so human, or that's so, I was like 7 or something, and we
Hmm.
were watching Twister, and it's Philip Seymour Hoffman in Twister. He's one of like the 7 ragtag punk rock guys who built
Yeah.
the machine that they're, the pirate guys who are trying to capture the tornado, whatever they're trying to do with their machine.
Yeah.
And he's like a dude eating pizza and drinking Coke or whatever. And there's a scene where he goes out to say hi to Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt when he's introducing her to the people or whatever. And he comes out and he has a hoodie, and he has the hoodie on, but his arms aren't through the holes. It's just like a cape, but it's like a hood cape.
Yeah.
And he kind of comes out, he's like, yo, Bill. And he comes, and I remember watching that and being like, wow, that is so real to me. Like as a
Right.
kid, as like I've never seen in a movie someone do like a real thing, like wear a hoodie in a funny way. That is like what I would do, or that I would see a kid at school do. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not polished. It's not like a movie character. It's like a guy
Yeah.
being silly. And I was like, wow. And it's funny, I haven't thought about that in a long time, but that was like, Phil Hoffman was even kind of his performances were like getting incepting me even as like a child.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then and so many of my favorite films feature him in either really small parts where he makes such an indelible, you know, footprint on the
Hmm.
film, whether it's totally heightened comedic characters or the leading, very dramatic, sort of tragic roles. He just really was and is the kind of what I aspire to be and do. And
Mm.
and
Yeah. That's a good one. That's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
also
Hard to
so yeah. It is interesting, like, when you say like when you were a kid, like there are things that just stick with you so much. And like you could literally be in a conversation with somebody and like you just did, you're like, wait, I haven't thought about this in so long, and like how this person has actually, because I had the same thing with Friends and Jennifer Aniston, where like when I was little watching the one with the prom video, like that flashback episode,
be.
like it was just like you couldn't tell me that that wasn't their real home video when I was a little kid.
It's real, mom.
Yeah, I'm like, no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
them. They're going to prom, and like you feel like you know these people. And like, what would you say is the first time you really saw yourself in a character? Like, was there a specific character you were watching and you were like, I relate so deeply to this character?
Yeah, I mean, um, the first time that I saw something that I really felt like, yes, this is the experience of what it actually is like to live a very specific lived experience that I know, was Whiplash. It's definitely
Mm.
Miles Teller's character, Andrew Neiman, in Whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
First time I was like, I felt seen. I was like, that's my experience. That's what it's like to be an actor. That's what my experience was like in drama school. Not as intense as J.K. Simmons' character.
Mm-hmm.
However, it was like that I felt seen in a way that made me feel validated and made me reflect on sort of my own sort of insanity and selfishness to a degree of
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, this person's obsession with this pursuit of this craft was really the first time that and I was in college when it came out and felt really seen and saw myself in that character, and like very very complicated relationship with mentors who
Mm,
are abusive but who are
yeah.
also you also love them and they're like family, and yet they're problematic in this or that way, but like they help you learn who you are and you make these incredible breakthroughs that change your life, and it's a very complicated thing, kind of a relationships. And that was the first time that I felt like a glove slipping into a glove of like that's my experience, and I see it articulated in a way
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that I hadn't seen before, and through a character who, and a perfect example of like just like he's like dumping. He's got this really cute girlfriend who's cool, and he like dumps her to like be a drummer, and I'm like, no, dude, like you can make it work. You
Yeah,
gotta.
you can have
I've seen that.
both.
If that's what I would have done. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, wow, what a mistake. And to kind of see that and question my own choices.
Yeah. Well, saying all of that, what has helped you create the balance in your life now? Or do you
Um,
still feel that way?
Yeah, no, I don't feel that way still, although those old ideas are deep in there, those aren't
Hmm.
those aren't going anywhere, I don't think anytime. Like I don't think the idea that like to be a real true artist at the sort of cutting edge of your game is maybe it does take everything and you need to
Yeah.
sacrifice everything. But like maybe I don't need to be that kind of artist. Like maybe there is a happy medium where I'm really good at working and this and that, and I have a life that's like sustainable. I don't
Hmm.
know. I would like to think that I certainly see actors who I imagine have very healthy lives and families and this and that, but also work, not just work, but like are giving everything they can give.
Hmm.
Really, actually, what I'm talking about. Not even like that the quality is masterful, but the fact that like, can I give everything that I can and then give to a partner at the end of the day, or give to a friend or family, or like show up for all the other things in my life in a really adult way, responsible way, healthy way.
Right.
Um, and or maybe it's okay to like really focus on having a balanced, healthy life. And then for a couple weeks when I'm working and I'm in, Kansas, I can sort of turn off my phone and tell my loved ones I'll talk to you in 2 weeks and then like live inside of this thing. I don't know. It's sort of easier when you can travel to work, which is a wonderful privilege, but like I don't know is the answer. I don't know how to strike the balance. I'm getting
Yeah.
there. I think thinking back to like lowering the stakes,
Hmm.
not treating it like not treating it so precious with so
Hmm.
much preciousness. However, like how do you still do that and then give it everything? I don't know.
Right. It's the kind of like the law of detachment, you know? Like you can give it everything you got, but not obsess over the outcome and just
Yeah.
kind of it's being present. Being present is so hard. It's
Yeah.
it's something that comes in waves for me where I'm like, okay, I'm here. I'm here and I'm doing what I'm doing. But then there's other times where it's like I was just talking to somebody else about this. Like when I am acting is when I feel the most present because you have to be or else you're doing a shitty job. And but then in my daily life, it's like I am thinking about 300 other things while I'm having this conversation, which is not fair to anybody else. But as you get older and there's so much life happening in the world in front of you internally, it's like, oh my God, can my brain just stop for maybe 5 minutes? Just give
Yeah.
me five.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's like I don't know. I don't know anything.
I mean, I know
Oh yeah,
nobody's got it figured out. And but it's like you said, like even,
yeah,
the actors that you love and you look up to when they talk about nerves, they also talk about this too, where they're like, I don't know, I still don't know what I'm doing. I still show up and
right,
I have
yeah,
no clue what I'm
it's
doing.
true,
And
yeah,
I think we all think everybody else has it figured out but us. And
right, right.
nobody, it is literally nobody knows what the fuck they're doing ever. We're all
No,
just winging
it's
it
not
the
like
best we
that.
can. Like
Yeah,
that's it.
I guess it really is that. Like it's like if you're doing it right, then you're gonna show up and be like, I really don't know. I really don't know how this is gonna work.
Hmm.
Even though I'm Meryl Streep or Daniel Day-Lewis or somebody. It's like I really don't know. I've done my homework, but like
Yeah.
whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. And
Yeah, and trusting that it all works out. It always does. And if it doesn't, you're not going to die, you know?
yeah, 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 yeah. That's a good like mental health adage of mine, which is like it's all gonna be okay, even when it's not okay.
Hmm.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when it's not. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, that's kind of true. You zoom out a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, zooming out. That's a good way to put it. Zooming out because we get so focused on if this one thing doesn't work out or if this doesn't go well. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, wait. Zoom out. And like if that
Yeah.
one thing doesn't go well, nothing it's not going to lead to a million other failures. Like it's just one
Yeah.
little bump in the road. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I think that's another thing in film too, and acting and like getting to know filmmakers and editors, you know, how much is just failure? How much of a film shoot is just bad? How much of it is bad acting, bad shots, bad angles, and they just don't put that in the movie, and they only put the good shots and the good one.
Yeah, exactly. And
They
nobody
pick the
nobody gets
okay
hurt.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And once I kind of realized that in the past few years, it was like, oh wow, I can really just be failing all over the place. And if
Mm.
I trust the director that they have taste in their editor, that all they need is just one take. So like, I used to just derail all performances when you're doing a take or a shot and you do a take and it's bad and it's like and then it's just like navigating through the fear and shame and of like doing a bad take and humiliating yourself in front of everyone and then trying to recover in 2 seconds to do another to get back to a place of presence to let the impulse hit you to do it again.
Hmm.
I used to just let it just ruin the whole day basically and shoot
Mm.
rather than being like, it's okay if I'm really bad right now because they won't put it in the movie. At least you have to just tell yourself that, whether you trust the director or not. You have to do that, and that's you have to root through the bad stuff to get to the good stuff.
Right. I
Risky.
have I have this a similar thing where it's like you make a mistake or you say the wrong thing, you stick your foot in your mouth. I won't stop thinking about it for the rest of the day. And I'm like, why am I that was literally 10 minutes out of 24 hours. Like, why am I
Right.
still thinking about this? And it's hard. It's hard to make those things just like simmer down in the back of your mind. But again, it goes back to, well, just be present because that moment literally no longer exists. It's literally so far gone. So like, why am I still obsessing about it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's such a pressure to like doing a film with this so little time and people have expectations to not screw up and to like show up and to be give something good and to be great and to be all these things. It's like so much pressure that's unnecessary. It doesn't help and it can just
Hmm.
derail the whole thing from every department. I mean, that's the other thing too. Once I realized like, oh, it's not just me
Hmm.
who's panicking. Like that costume person doesn't have the thing, and this makeup person doesn't have the time, and the gaffer's pissed off because they only have 20 minutes to light the next scene, and the DP's like, my work's gonna look like shit, and the director's getting her neck is being breathed on by the people with the money, and then and everyone is just in a state of fear around
Right.
doing a good job and like job
Yeah.
security and the next thing. So it's like, oh wow, I'm not the only guy here who's
Yeah. But I think it's important to like remember in those moments too, like we all came here because we wanted to have a good time and a good experience. So like, why don't I just have some fun? instead of
Yeah, yeah.
freak the fuck out right
While it
now.
lasts. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
It really is. Like I have a good friend who always reminds me to like make sure you're like enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
Whether
Mm-hmm.
even if it's a premiere or a film festival or a screening or a shoot, it's like these things don't come around all the time.
Right. Right.
You got
Especially
to at least
nowadays.
enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of, because I saw in an interview where you were promoting your new movie that was just premiered at TIFF. I don't know how to say it.
Yes, nobody does. No, it's called Erupcja, which is
Erupcja.
Polish
Okay.
for eruption.
Gotcha.
Polish,
Erupcja. I was
Polish
like, I
translation.
am not going to be the one to try to say this. There's no
No,
way.
it's okay. It's part of the fun of the movie.
Yeah.
I like hearing the different pronunciations. But yeah, Erupcja.
Erupcja. So you're talking about how being super, super prepared helps you. But I saw you in an interview talking about how this movie didn't have a script.
Yeah.
So how did that work for your brain?
Yeah, what a conundrum. Well, my friend Pete Owes is a filmmaker, and I've made three feature films with him as a co-writer and actor. And his kind of ethos is every year he makes one movie, and he does it with some friends, and he has no script, and we go somewhere in the world, a different place maybe we've never been to, or a different city or a different country, and for 2 weeks we write in the mornings and shoot throughout the day a feature film. So we do 3 scenes a day, um, for basically 5 or 6 days. We take a couple days off, and then we shoot 5 or 6 more days, and then that's a feature. So that's we've done 3 times now. He's done it 6 or 7. I've been a part of 3 of them, and it is one of those things for an actor who likes control, as
Structure,
we
yeah.
all sort of do, and structure. Having no script, having no what do I do to prepare? How does this actually? What does this actually look like once we get
Hmm.
down to the wire? So, like for each of those films, we knew, we had about half of an outline of a script. So we would kind of talk about way before shooting, like what is the character that I'll be playing? What are the circumstances? What are the relationships? It starts off here, maybe it goes here, here, here. Okay, cool. Here's about what would half of a movie look like generally, scene to scene, action to action, but with no dialogue and no script. So from that sort of like template, for about a month leading up to the shoot, I will do my own preparation of kind of exploring and starting to come up with some ideas of who this character is. And for each of these films, I had either like a vocal affectation or a dialect that I had something that was kind of my lifeline to be working on.
Hmm.
So really it became like, what does this guy sound like and how does he behave? How much can I just find that in its own improvisational kind of way to then come to the table and start kind of sharing that with the other artists as we're starting to come up with the story and kind of so for someone who likes a lot of structure and control, it is a challenge and
Yeah.
was maybe the greatest challenge I've had each of his films that we've done together. We did a movie called Jethica that we shot during the pandemic. That's a kind of a horror thriller comedy
Hmm.
blending of tones where I played a ghost stalker with a lisp, which was fun. And then we did a film called Love and Work where we were kind of alternate universe where jobs are illegal. These underground characters are kind of finding hobbies and crafts and jobs to do while hiding from the government. And that was the sort of like southern drawl characters. We shot that in Texas.
Hmm.
And then this last one, Erupcia, I played an English fellow from London who was traveling on holiday in Warsaw. So for a month, I had the fun, challenging task of trying to learn a new dialect, which always takes me about a month. And then as soon as it's over, it like goes away. And I find dialects to be such like disposable skill. And it's like I had to kind of stay inside of it. And that became my thing I could kind of go to. It's like at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't know what to work on for the scene because we don't know what we're going to shoot.
Mm,
Let's work on the dialect. Let me just see like where the dialect lives in me. What can
right.
that indicate about who this character is? Where, where he moves from, where he kind of senses from in a way.
That
So,
is
yeah.
so, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact of like every day you don't even know what the script is going to be. Like, that's my reoccurring nightmare.
Yeah, that is me
It's
too.
literally my reoccurring nightmare. Like, and then I would be so self-conscious of like, what if every decision I just made was fucking wrong? Like, I'm getting
Well,
kicked out of this movie.
well, the good news is it's like back to like trusting your
Mm-hmm.
collaborators. It's like I was a co-writer along with four other actors and the director.
Mm-hmm.
So, I always saw it as like whenever I'm co-writing with somebody or co-creating, it's like, if there's four of us, I'm responsible for 25% of this thing. So
Right.
it's like, okay, cool. So every time we come to the table, I need to at least be giving my 25% to
Mm-hmm.
the script and trusting that these other actors and that the director will also be filling in pulling their weight. And then together that kind of formulates into something. And again, it's like also the notion of I trust Pete's taste. I know we very similar, not similar taste, but that we just know we have similar standard, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We know what's working and what's not working. And like I can totally fall flat on my face as I did many times in each of his films and be like, okay, move it on because that's not gonna go in the movie.
Right, right.
No,
So,
it's not.
what is the synopsis of this movie? At the end of the day, after all the brainstorming, what is this movie about?
Yeah, so this movie is about this English couple played by myself and Charli XCX, who's actor musician. And the two of us travel to Warsaw for holiday. My character is planning on proposing to her. And while we're there, we encounter this woman played by Lena Gora, named Nell, who's a Polish florist who in the past has had a history with Charlie XCX's character named
Mhm.
Bethany. So we are on holiday and they run into each other. And then that sort of what ensues is kind of a relationship, simple but complicated kind of relationship, uh, somewhat of a love triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I say any more, it sort of starts to give things away. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the log line. And
That's so cool. When does it,
yeah.
is it out in theaters? Is
No, we premiered it at the Toronto International Film Festival early September,
mm-hmm.
and so a few months ago. And the movie was bought and will be released in April in limited theatrical
Amazing.
release. And in the meantime, we've got about half a dozen more international film festivals and hoping to have a couple more US festivals, hopefully in winter or spring, leading up right before the release, which will be available in April of 2026.
That's super exciting. Is this your
Yeah,
first, like, was it that your first time at TIFF?
that was my first time at TIFF. Yeah,
How was that?
TIFF is huge. It's big.
Yeah. Yeah.
The experience that I had was very fun. It's very rewarding. It was a total, royal treatment.
Right.
The carpet, the whole nine yards was very fun. Those experiences are always so much. They're always so sort of hurried and chaotic and busy, kind of like a
Hmm.
film set. It's like the perfect. Maybe it's the whole film industry of like
Yeah.
urban entertainment. It's like 500 people on walkie-talkies like running around, and then it slows down and there's this one person looking pretty and it's slow and it looks great, but then underneath it is like 1,000 people going crazy trying to orchestrate the whole thing.
Right.
So trying to just like on a film set, just like be relaxed, be myself, and just kind of engage. And the cool thing about it was like, I mean, it was almost, yeah, it was so we had like 2.5 days of like press and photo shoots and chaotic stuff being shuffled around by the PR team and
Hmm.
totally fun. It was just a total trip. Without the added pressure of being like, oh, someone's gonna call me in to like do the scene. It's like, oh, there's no
Right.
scene, there's no monologue, there's no big emotional moment. We get to just show up and be, on and professional and um but easy, fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I mean, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. It's a cool concept. It's a cool cast. And I'm sure it was a really amazing experience as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the film was an incredible experience, incredible in a lot of ways. I'd never been to Poland or Warsaw, so like living there for 3 weeks was a total trip. And
Yeah.
shooting, shooting was very similar to how all our shoots were in a way. They were just with my friends. The other thing about how Pete makes movies that he's kind of a one-man band. So he's the DP, he's the director,
Oh,
he's the
wow.
editor, he's the a writer, he's a producer, so we had a
Mhm.
few other people helping out who were producing and who were on set, but it was like 10 people all in. So we can kind of run around and shoot at this location, shoot, steal a shot over here in the street corner, go into this museum and, steal some shots.
You said only 10 people worked on this?
Yeah, as far as on set, yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
great. That's a small amount of people, but I mean,
well, yeah, it's
it
like
goes to show that all you really need is, a
camera.
handful of good people and a vision, and you could make whatever you want. Like,
And these films, Pete's been shooting on the same camera, which is like a Mach 5D, which is a camera from 2012.
hmm
It's like a prosumer camera, but they're like, for all intents and purposes, like cheap cameras.
right.
But he just is a great cinematographer, makes it look good, makes is inventive and interesting with his shots, and does color correction and post, and it looks as good as any
That's
any other
amazing.
indie film that they see. So it's like, oh yeah, the camera. We would get the lav mics, lav each other up. He had a mic on the camera, and that's all you need.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't need to be like super fancy big budget for it to be something great.
No, it really doesn't. No, yeah, and it's people get so bogged down by perfectionism and thinking that
hmm
there's a way to do things that people tell you that it is and that it has to be done a certain way. And Pete's been taking it on himself to sort of directly challenge that, and his
hmm
films have premiered at TIFF and Sundance and South by Southwest, and they're getting purchased and they're getting theatrical releases. He's like, and each of the movies are very cheap, well, micro budget.
That's amazing. That's
So,
so cool.
you know,
What are you watching? What are you like you said you don't watch a whole lot of TV. You're a film guy.
I'm a bad man. I'm just like TV is. It's hard for me to commit to things, particularly a TV show. It's like people tell me the shows, and I'm like, "Ah, I think I just get bogged down by the quantity when someone's you got to watch The Wire. It's like okay, and I would start it, and I like it, and I'm okay, and then and then like life happens. I'm like I can't get into the next season. I don't have like time. I
Oh
just
my
don't know how to
gosh.
do TV. I think I don't know how to fit
That's
it into
but
my
even
life.
growing up, like you were more so it was just watching films with your dad. Like
Movies,
there wasn't that's
movies
so
are
like, I'm the complete opposite.
yeah.
Someone could tell me to watch a 3-hour movie that's absolutely incredible. It'll blow your mind. No way. But if you told me to watch 5 episodes of Scandal in a row, I'll do it. No
Yeah, you're
problem.
like, I don't have time for a movie, but I'll watch a season of TV.
Yeah, it's so strange, and I don't know what that is. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's just because each episode there is resolution. If there's a cliffhanger, I can just go right into it, or like I get so attached to these certain characters where I'm like, no, that's my friend. Like
Yeah,
I
no,
can't leave
I
them
do
yet.
get it. I think the last time I really watched a full show was the pandemic, where I watched Mad Men and The West Wing and Breaking Bad all in
Mm.
back to back because I had the time. I had 9 months in my room.
All not very lighthearted, that's for sure.
Sort of heavy stuff. I did watch the what I love, or I do love actually, miniseries. I love The Night of. I love Ripley. I just watched Ripley.
Okay.
I've only seen once, um, but I love that as a format. I know this much is true. The Mark Ruffalo series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those are I love that because it's like you get the best of both worlds, which is like character transformation and evolution, which is what I love about TV, which is like why Breaking Bad's so incredible watching the character's transformation.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been watching a lot of movies. I try to go to the theater once or twice a week and see stuff that are coming out. So from the indie film Urchin. I really loved
Hmm.
Harris Dickinson's directorial debut, the actor, a real actor's actor movie.
Who?
Harris Dickinson. He's the actor who was in Baby Girl and the Ruben Östlund film. He's playing John Lennon in the new Big Beatles
I'm
biopic.
sure if I saw his face, I
Recognize,
would
yeah,
know. Yeah.
it's a British guy. He, in the middle of like having this really exciting career moment as an actor, he's like, I'm going to take a year off and actually write and direct a movie instead, which is really cool, really
Yeah.
cool. So him and this actor Frank Delane did this incredible movie Urchin, and One Battle After Another. I just saw. I
I
just saw.
really want to see that movie so
I gotta
bad.
get on it. See it IMAX or
Yeah.
Vista Vision in Los Feliz.
Well, I might end up going alone, which is funny because I saw The Revenant alone in IMAX, which was like
Yeah.
the biggest mistake of my life. Like
Oh,
literally, I'm such a
talking
baby.
about bear getting attacked by bears, and
I
that's
know.
like
I'm such a baby. Literally, there was like the sweetest couple next to me, and he just gave me his jacket and he was like, "Don't look.
oh my
Just
god,
don't look.
like you're
Just don't."
ours now. Yeah.
Like literally,
Very
it was like I was their child for the night, and they were like, "This poor girl. Why did we bring her here?" But I went by myself. But I can't. I don't. A lot of my friends, they either go to the movies like right when it comes out, where I don't have time. But it's going to the movies has become so much work anymore for me that
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, well,
Oh, I
I have
love it.
the bladder of like a 3-year-old, so it's like a 3-hour movie. I'm literally gonna miss chunks
Do
of
the
it because I
exit.
have to pee so many times, and I
Yeah, yeah.
can't go without getting an icy or popcorn or a bunch of crunch. Like I need the whole experience, and then I'm like, oh, gotta pee, gotta pee.
Can't go anywhere. We can't take you anywhere.
Literally, I have to pee right now, actually.
Well, One Battle After Another would be worth just strapping on a diaper and going for it because
Literally, that's how
you
I'm gonna
don't want
have
to
to go
miss it.
see it. That's
Or
so
you did see it
funny.
twice, but pee at the times that you didn't need to
Exactly.
otherwise.
Exactly. That's so
Um,
funny. Yeah, I hear that it flies by though. Everybody I know who've seen it, they're like, it did not feel like it was 3 hours.
yeah, it's really cool to see a movie that lives up to the hype. You know, that's
Mm,
that's like Parasite. I think that I've seen a movie that everyone was being so hyperbolic about, and then I was like,
yeah.
it's gonna be like
Yeah.
awesome. Um,
What was one movie that didn't live up to the hype for you, where you were like, why does everybody love this?
almost every movie to me. Um, I don't know. I think a lot of honestly, a lot of the big action movies of today,
Mm,
I think, have such a hype around them and just don't hold a candle to the classic action movies of like early Spielberg and James Cameron.
yeah.
Like, I think a lot of the big set piece blockbuster movies that there's like something kind of inventive or interesting about them that are unique or it's like an IP people like or whatever. I
Hmm.
just am so I'm just not into it. I'm not into
Yeah.
blockbuster action movies anymore because honestly like the movie ends and you kind of look back and go what really was even happened in those action sequences? I don't like remember those action
Yeah.
sequences.
Yeah.
I
That's how
think
I feel about White Lotus. Everybody loves White Lotus so
oh
much, and
yeah.
like, I don't get it.
Oh, I like that. That's a nice hot take. I like this.
Yeah. I'm like,
I
I don't
like the
get it.
show. I
I like aspirational TV. There's no, I don't want to be like anybody on here. They're all like nobody's likable, nobody's funny, nobody. I'm like, this is
oh really?
you guys are all kind
Don't
of
you
like
want to laugh at these poor people who are also fucked up?
I can just go
But
outside, go to the grocery store.
maybe you're just a good person. I just see myself in every one of these
Oh
characters.
my
Like
God,
I'm
that's
like him. I'm like her. I'm like him. I'm like her.
that's so
It's
funny.
it's more of like what's the phrase like a morality play
Mm,
than like
hmm.
here's what you should be like. I,
Yeah,
I just like it. I kind of find it interesting this like season of like art reflecting the conversations of life that we need to be talking about, which is like class.
right,
I think class is like class and capitalism is in sort of the root of most of the other problems that we have, and it's
right.
interesting to examine that and to humanize people and to like relate and also to be like, wow, where in my life am I being like this guy?
Yeah, to not be like that.
Yeah, right. Now, how do I
Yeah.
like? no, what impact am I having on my loved ones by being that way?
Yeah, I guess
That
I
I
would
think I'm
say,
justified in being.
yeah, I learned that lesson from watching Sex in the City when I watched how Carrie Bradshaw was. I was like, oh my God, the embarrassment. Like, I could never act like that towards a man. I couldn't. Oh my
Uh-huh.
God.
Uh-huh.
So I guess, yeah, everything's a learning experience.
It is, yeah. I'm just yeah, I guess like what I'm excited about, like a movie like One Battle After Another. It's a $130 million indie film, basically. A movie
Right.
that's completely original. The
Hmm.
tone is challenging. It's got heavy stuff, but it's fun and it's digestible in this like accessible way to audiences. It's not highbrow and it's
Right.
not bullshit popcorn action movie. It's like, no,
Right.
this is like what a risk, talk about like risk taking.
Hmm.
Somebody's, Annapurna or whatever company spent $130 million on this movie.
Right.
Has no IP and is not a doesn't have the sex and violence you get from other big movies, but is still exciting. And so like that I am excited by any movie that's like got an original idea right now. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I just kind of have that feeling of like whenever something is just IP or a remake of a remake or
Ugh.
a reboot of a thing that was already amazing, and
Yeah.
you should just keep that. I just can't help but feel like I always think like, what was like Mona Lisa 2? You're gonna make a second Mona Lisa?
Right.
Like, you
Right.
already did Mona Lisa. You're gonna do another one for money? Like
Yeah.
it's just like the ugly side of the business.
Yeah. I agree.
Put my mouth. So I'm like, I would take apart. Like, hey, I'll be in,
Right.
the
But can I get a
background
part
of
in
Harry
that?
Potter 5 reboot
Literally.
2043. I'll be Dumbledore. But it's
That's
like, what
so
the fuck?
funny.
Why are we making more of this?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like masterful. Some of these
Hmm.
remakes of books or whatever, and just doing them again is like, man, it's just what is it going to illuminate that's interesting or new and
Yeah.
about us now?
Yeah,
That's
and
that's
there's
just like,
so many, like your new film coming out. There's so many new original ideas and new creative ways that people are making art that it's like,
yeah,
why are we doing Hocus Pocus 2? Like, come on, guys.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's a business. It's a business.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Well, Will, this was so much fun. It was so nice meeting you and chatting with you. And I'm excited to see this movie. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that there was no script.
Thank you. I'm recovering.
But it'll be, I feel like that'll be so much more fun to watch it knowing that you guys like literally just came up with that
Yeah,
that morning. Like that's got to be when
I
you
think
watched
so.
it back were you like hell, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. Not in a self-congratulatory way. Honestly, more of like, wow, Pete really put this thing
Yeah.
together. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, he's the puppet master orchestrating the whole thing. That he had the vision to make it cohesive,
Mm-hmm.
each of them. But it really is, and hell yeah, in the way that it's like, oh, anyone could do this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a filmmaker, you're an actor, like you could go and do this, and you could
Mm-hmm.
make a feature film and be in a feature film. And my good friends, one of my roommates, just made his first feature, and they made a second feature 6 months later. Like, oh wait, we can actually just do this and make feature films and give
Mm-hmm.
ourselves the opportunities to star in these movies and write what we want to write. And
Right.
those are
Right.
those are coming together and getting better. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
Interesting.
incredible. I think it's incredible and it's inspiring. It's inspiring because, I don't know if I have that gene of like I'm gonna create this myself. I'm more like I give me the audition, direct me, tell me what to do. And I have a lot of friends who are like, Brittany, you should write. Like you need to write because I just am I would pride myself in I'm good at telling stories of things that have happened to me. And they're like, that's a sitcom right there. Just write it. And I'm like,
Sure.
I'm gonna paint my wall instead. Like it's like this weird fear
Love it.
procrastination type of thing. But hearing how, but it goes back to community. How we started this conversation. It's like when you hang out with people who are like, no, let's fucking create, let's go.
Right.
It's so helpful and only good can happen.
Yeah, and those people are out there, and you
Hmm.
can challenge each other. People
Hmm.
stuff with people from acting class who are also not writer, actor, direct, or writer directors, but actors, and it's like you got
Hmm.
to find your crew, find your people,
Yeah.
and and rise up rise up with them, grow with them.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
Mm-hmm.
trying to always be scratching at the door of somebody who's already established, who there's a
Right.
thousand other people trying to get their attention.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this was great, Will. Thanks
Yes,
for
but
doing this.
appreciate you. Yeah, thanks for having me. This was very fun.
Keep in touch, and I can't wait to see this. I really want to see this movie because I have to see how it all worked
Awesome.
out.
Yeah, I'll definitely be promoting it on all my little socials and stuff when it comes out in April, and festivals and stuff between then. So keep your eyes.
Amazing. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk
Yeah.
soon. All right. Bye.